All right, let's jump into understanding the phases of our menstrual cycle from a traditional Chinese medical standpoint, talking about yin and yang. Now, if you don't understand yin or yang or the meridians or the qi, there is another course that you can take. It's like basically acupuncture Chinese medicine 101 that goes over and more in depth in reference to the meridians, what they govern over, how yin and yang converge with each other. So check that out if it kind of feels like I'm speaking Chinese to you. So, our phases, we have 4 phases, and they're very different for every woman. Some women's menstrual cycles are 28 days, some are 30 days, some are 34 days. If you're in menopause or past menopause, you don't really know because you don't get a period. But just for the conversation's sake and understanding when to start tracking your menstrual cycle, here's the different phases. So, phase 1 would be where we have our period. That's going to be more of a yang phase. Phase 2 is typically like the week after our period, where we all feel a little bit better. That's the yin phase, and where we're starting to secrete estrogen. The third phase, which is typically considered like ovulation stage, that's going to be the peak of yin. That's when our ovaries are getting ready to produce and release eggs. And that's going to be where we need more movement. The fourth phase is now where we're getting ready for menstruation, ready for our period. The uterine lining is building up and getting ready to shed, and that's more of a progesterone phase. So phase 1 is yang, phase 2 is yin, phase 3 is a peak of yin, and then phase 4 is yang. Now, why this is important to understand is because as we go through these different phases of our menstrual cycle, we're going to have different emotions, feelings, actions, reactions. And let's be real, I would venture to guess most of us understand that emotional components that are fueled by hormones are way bigger than emotions that are in the minute of an event. And that is so normal, but yet we're not taught that. We're taught that, like, if you're emotional during different aspects of your menstrual cycle, that there's something wrong with you. No, emotions are harder to control when they're hormonally based for men and women. And then during these different phases, we're going to have stronger, bigger emotions. So, like through a yin phase, which is going to be phase 2 or 3 of our cycle, that's going to be more emotions of like worry, anxiety, fear, weepiness, brain fog, waking up. That's more of yin feelings, yin emotions. And then during like the yang phase of our cycle, we're going to have bigger emotions like irritability, anger, frustration, annoying, feeling overwhelmed, also feeling like we got to get shit done so that we can earn our worth, feeling a little more hot, a little more fierce. Those are going to be yang feelings. And again, this is why it's very important for us to start learning and understanding ourselves so that when we do have these bigger emotions, we can at least acknowledge them and understand them, which then is going to give us more compassion for ourselves and give us a better idea of what we need to do during those specific weeks and phases of our menstrual cycle. I mean, anything from you're going to spend more time with friends, or you're not going to spend more time with friends, or you're going to change your workout to more of a yin yoga, or you're going to turn it to more of a HIIT workout. These components are all so very important to understand when to eat certain foods, do certain activities, because that's going to help keep the yin and yang balanced as you transition from menstrual to perimenopause to menopausal and mitigate your symptoms. This is not just about a one and done kind of thing. It is about understanding that this is going to be a lifestyle. Again, this is where I want you to understand how to be selfish and put yourself as a priority. Understanding your body during the different phases of your menstrual cycle, and then understanding, what do you need? Do you need more sleep? Do you need more activity? Do you need socializing? Do you need time to yourself? So that you can then also balance out the different aspects of the body: digestion, brain fog, irritability, sadness. The more we understand ourselves and the better we are at understanding the different hormonal phases of our body, the better we are going to be able to transition and have less symptoms. And then what that means is a happier life in the moment, but it also means prevention of further illness or disease. Because if you're burning your yin, that is not good for your brain. As we get older, our brain shrinks and we need more yin energy to help support the brain and nourish the brain. And if you're burning your yin at the wrong time of the month, like excess exercising, yes, excess exercising. If you are working out to the point of over sweating, you're burning yin, which is going to affect your brain. So when I tell you how important it is to understand the yin and yang phases, it is not just for the aspects of emotions. It's for physical health and brain health and prevention of illness and disease in your future. But the one component that I have realized in the last 10 years of practice is the understanding of feelings. We don't understand how we feel. I will ask a patient, male or female, how do you feel? And the typical answers I get are fine or okay. No, we're not. There's not one human on this planet that is fine or okay. And if they are, then they might be, they might be fine or okay, but I'm going to assume it's probably more of a disassociation of how they feel. So it's very important that we allow ourselves to feel anger, sadness, joy, pissed off, lonely, whatever. Because if we don't, it is going to disrupt the yin and yang, cause chi stagnation, and that's going to make our feelings and emotions so much bigger. So in Chinese medicine, our approach to feelings is very different than what us in the Western culture have been brought up with. So when I ask a patient how they feel, I literally want to know, how do you feel? Do you feel tired? Do you feel angry? Do you feel sad? Do you feel hopeless? Do you feel excited? Do you feel joyful? Do you feel like your foot hurts? Whatever. But what I've learned is that most of us don't feel. We don't take the time to ask ourselves, how do I feel? And if we don't do that, we are missing a major component of understanding our own health. In Chinese medicine, we don't quantify or qualify feelings. Feelings are just feelings. Being angry is no different than being cold. If you're angry, do something to acknowledge your anger. Do something to get that anger out. Whatever. I don't know. Kick the garbage can, punch a pillow, whatever. Physically get the anger out. Just like if you're cold, you will physically put a sweatshirt on to warm yourself up, to change how you feel. You need to acknowledge physically and emotionally how you feel to change how you feel. The more you stuff a feeling down, the more you're going to cause a disruption in the qi, the yin, and the yang of the meridians, and then now you're more susceptible to illness, injury, and disease.